So I think I am live. I'm not exactly sure. Uh, Not yet. I don't see myself. One moment, please. Um, Now, this is not working apparently. Mm, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I'm live. I don't see anything. Nope, I'm not live. Yes, I am live. So it's right here. Oh, I found it. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I'm live. Yes, so, yeah, so I am live. Let me just, okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is a bit annoying because the YouTube is mirroring my my and I feel weird. Okay, so anyway, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth, and I was just thinking, I've been thinking about doing this live and getting ready for about an hour, and I wasn't exactly sure how to go about this new channel because, well, I already have a history of my Spanish channel talking about the Taygeten disclosure. And when I started that channel a year ago, it was it was everything that Taygeten disclosure. I had been following it for a year and a half. So I was still learning and trying to understand this matrix, my life, and this disclosure and everything. So I had a lot to say, and there was this train of thought that I was following, and so it had my lives had a distinct way of being and a certain beat to it, which everybody was able to follow it. So it was a natural. It felt natural. Everything just worked out. Now with this channel, the first idea I had was to do the same thing that I was doing there, but in English. But now I realize that I cannot really do that because you don't know me. In my other channel, an English channel, I am um, in another channel with other two members that follow the Taygeten disclosure, and we talk about the Taygeten disclosure, and we were talking about the history of the earth. We did about 9 months. So everybody knew me from there. And then while I was doing those, I'm sorry, I feel like I have something on my face. While doing those lives in this other channel with my friends, I started doing my Elide Era channel. So it was a continuation, and everybody knew me, and there was already a feedback and a relationship with the audience. So it was a natural thing that happened. And with this channel that I started it a year later, it's completely different. So I'm a little bit stuck because you don't know me. Um, uh, we don't have any history together. So I thought, okay, so I'm gonna have to do this differently. So it's going to be a little bit differently, especially if you speak Spanish. You're probably thinking, so it's going to be the same as my other one. No, I think it's going to be different. It needs to be different. So, um, so basically, I'm going to start to just share information that is coming out now and the disclosure. My goodness, I feel like I have something on my face. I can see it right there. And I was just thinking about this. So what I want to share with you is my thought about the history of this planet, and to basically show you and explain to how I see the last 200 years, because we know that the reset, the hard reset that I call it, was beginning of the 1800s. So that's the 19th century. Now, that's we are aware through the disclosure that there are constantly many resets being carried out on this earth, and the last one is the one from the 1800s. Now, we also know that history on this earth previous to 1800, it's all made up. Now, to what extent? I don't think anybody knows at this moment. Taygetans are unsure because the archives from the Federation there is information missing, so it's not accurate. Down here, we have the books and information we get from the universities, from scientists, from historians, from archaeologists, and what we learn at school. So we believe we know what the history is of this planet, but we actually have no idea. It is completely false. To what extent? Well, they've manipulated everything, so there are bits and pieces that did happen and were like that, but they were taken out of time, so they have happened at a different time. In fact, for example, Christopher Columbus, apparently that did not happen. Christopher Columbus was apparently another character in this history. He actually existed, but it in another time, and he did something else. So, or he was probably made up. We don't know. But apparently, all this discovery of America by Christopher Columbus is made up, which happened in what, 1492 was when he discovered America. So it's a little bit crazy. Also, you have to, I don't know if you remember that the 1,000 years of what they call the Middle Ages didn't exist. Now, I'm an archaeologist. I could never be sold on the idea that the Middle Ages existed. It just didn't make sense to me, because you have the ancient Greece, period. Then you have the Middle Ages, which is 1,000 years approximately. And then suddenly you have the Renaissance. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. How can that happen? Now, if you take away the Middle Ages and you put the Greeks and the Renaissance, you see that there is they match. It's like a continuation. That's what it looks like to me. We now know that the Middle Ages was invented to give religion a history, a time history. They make us believe that in those 1,000 years was when religious ideas, religion spread throughout the world, and everyone adopted it. And that's all a lie. In fact, from the year, what we are aware of, 0 to now, it's only been 600, 700 years, not 2,000, as we're told. Can you imagine 600 to 700 years? It makes you wonder. Now, you can imagine, it's funny because when we were studying this in the other channel, the Somos La Fuente channel in Spanish, with my other two colleagues, followers of this Taygeta and Disclosure. They are fascinated by history and archaeology, fascinated. They're not archaeologists themselves, but they know so much of it that they could be. When we started studying this and realized how everything was made up, it was fake, I kind of understood it. I realized, wow, it is. But there was a point that I thought that it had been invented to a certain extent. It wasn't like completely. One moment, please, because I lost my space. And I thought it was just to a certain extent. Oh, great, okay. And I remember in one of the lives that we were making, because every time we have these lives in that channel, the three of us seem to be so concentrated on the information that each of us are constantly trying to access the ether for more information. So we kind of start working as one, all three of us. So there is a lot of information that starts coming through and we start talking about it. It's quite amazing. We love it. And I remember as a point in time, in fact, there is a live and it's recorded, that it just dawned on me that history is completely made up. Now you're probably thinking, so what? When you take away the history of a society, you can manipulate it. When you take away its identity, it is prey to manipulation to a degree that you cannot even imagine. And when I realized to the extent that all this was a lie and fake, I started feeling sick. In fact, I almost fainted. I was in such shock that I was fainting. The life, the energy of my body was just draining away. And I was just holding on to the sofa while we were still speaking live. Now, why I'm explaining this and with such detail is to let you know how important it is, and to know this aspect of our society, and to realize that the manipulation that is going on this earth is to an extent that I don't think we are aware of it. We talk about it, we analyze the agendas, but in all honesty, I don't think any of us realize how manipulated we are. And we may never know until we decide to leave. Now, we can take this and be completely outraged and ruin our lives, which is why I almost fainted that day. Or take it as something that is an experience that we came to live. Others came to live it and experience it because they want to help. They want to change this matrix. We all have our reasons of why we are doing this, or why we are here. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you. Now, I wanted to share with you how I see this recent reset of this current society that we live in. This type of society that you live in, the type of society where you have a supermarket, the type of society where you have to find a job and find an income to pay for things, the type of a society where you have schools, you have universities, and the way it works, the dynamic of the society, it is only this society in this point in time. It exists right now in this point in time. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't like this in Greek times. There was another type of society in ancient Greece. When was ancient Greece? I have no idea. Nobody knows about the history of the earth. But this type of society was made up and it started in the early 1800s. If you go to Wikipedia and you type out 19th century, you will see a list of everything that supposedly started in the 1900s. So you're going to see the advancement of medicine, of science, music, new discoveries. You're going to see technology, new technology. And if you take a look at it, if you look at it closely, you will see that those are the foundations of what this society is at this moment in time. Now, let me give you an example. For example, I live in New Zealand right now. Now, I have no idea what New Zealand was like previous to the society, before the 1800s. I have no idea what was here. And apparently, we are told, and nobody was here, only the Maoris were here. That's this little tribe of people that lived here. That's probably not true at all, but it was completely wiped out. Now we know that there is apparently a pyramid here in New Zealand that was almost found. In fact, I think it was 40 years ago, there was on the news here that there was these huge building that resembled the building in Egypt, the pyramids, the building in Machu Picchu of these big boulders, these big rocks that are put together side by side, so very well done that you could see that it was a wall. Now it was found, and it is mostly underground. And when it was discovered, and many archaeologists came to look at it, suddenly the government said, "No, there's nothing here." And the government has this notice on that place that says it is prohibited to dig there, to do anything there. I'm like, you kidding me? So apparently the experts at that time, archaeologists, unfortunately, to my dismay, said that it was a natural, it was natural. These square rocks side by side, making a wall. As you start digging, it's clearly a wall. It's naturally made. Come on. Don't be ridiculous. So obviously that was manipulated. So what was here in New Zealand? I have no idea. I don't know. So anyway, and so I'm thinking of only New Zealand. What happens to the other countries? All the other countries are made up, mainly. Because if you realize the countries that were founded were around the 1800s. most of them around the world, were founded in the 1800s. Think about this, especially in America. And of course, they were discovered by Christopher Columbus. Now, this reset in the 1800s, there's obviously a wipeout of society. They obviously wiped out completely Tartaria, which was an advanced civilization that apparently was interstellar. Oh my God, I'm mixing my words in Spanish. And so they were quite advanced. Now, and so we started 1800s. They wipe out the whole of humanities. They started with because they killed most of the humans apparently that were here through supposedly wars and viruses and such. So we start with a small amount of humanity, of population around the world, which are easily able to be manipulated and used. So they divided these people around the world and all these new countries. And each of them started to have a history of their own. Now, if you realize, the working visa, I'm sure you've heard of it. There is this working visa in the world right now where countries, I think about 79 countries, have decided to have this exchange between their young people between 18 and 30, 35 years old, where they go and experience a different type of lifestyle. And they're able to work so they can support themselves while they are experiencing this other country. And I always thought, how interesting. Now we have to understand that everything they do, it has a reason. It has a reason. So I was thinking about this working visa that is going on right now, thinking, well, so what is the point of this working visa? Well, if you have a reset where you wipe out the population of the earth and you are with a small amount of people and you divide it into these countries, they start, multiplying, but they are still within their countries, because you cannot just travel to another country willy-nilly. You need a passport, you need a visa, and you can't stay for more than so many months, etc. Now, that was done by design. Why was it done by design? So that we could believe the history that they tell us. Why? Because when we are divided like that, we're able to make our little own society because we are separated from our neighbors, right? So each of them made their own little society and their own little history. That was the reason of making this idea that you need a passport and you need a visa and you cannot stay for so long. And they, of course, they tell us no, because, each government has to take care of their people and they have to take care of their economics, etc., blah, blah, blah. That's just for us to believe what they're doing. So they divided us, made these divisions, and now what are they doing? What are they doing? They are slowly and very controlled, I don't think it's very controlled, trying to make us all one. Have you realized that? So they have this working visa where the youngish people are started to be able to go to another country and spend at least a year there, work there and meet others and mingle. And you know what happens? What happens to young people who want to many of them want to multiply. Yeah, they fall in love with someone from that country. So they are starting to homogenize the world. So why are they doing that? I don't know. I'm not understanding this. But they want to homogenize everything and want help to carry that out. What helped was the internet. The internet came along and we were able to basically be one, because we would be able to speak to someone in China. I was able to speak to someone in Australia, in India, and England. So they want to homogenize this world. And they want to have one government, don't they? So, you know, when we see these working holiday visas and these ideas of, they say, oh no, it is the governments, that the countries, they want to help their citizens to expand their minds, to learn more, to be multicultural, to have this understanding of our neighbors, of other people, of other races, and enrich ourselves of culture. That's what's behind it. That's what they sell us. And I cannot deny it. It's true. So that's matrix explanation. Here I'm giving you I am sharing with you the explanation of the higher level. And so I think have you realized that there are a lot of young people that want to study medicine? Previously, it was engineering. Everybody wanted to be an engineer. And that coincided with the advancement of technology. After the industrial age. So they advanced the society with engineers because everybody wanted to be an engineer. This was by design, I'm sure of it. And now the young people, they shifted, and everybody wants to be a doctor. They want to study medicine. Why are they making people study medicine? Where are they going with this? There's also this idea of blending AI with biology. To blend AI with biology, you need doctors to help you with this. And programmers, right? So I think that there is an agenda here of making the young people study medicine. And so what we're going to see now is in regards to our biology, medicine, biology, engineers, equals technology, engineers, technology, medicine, biology. So where are they going with this? I find that it's interesting when you start to understand things. When you are able to see a connection, because when you're within the matrix, nothing makes sense. You start going a little crazy. Nothing makes sense. The world doesn't make sense. Societies don't make sense. Governments, of Governments never make sense. This whole financial aspect of a society, it makes absolutely no sense. So, what do you think? There's no one here to chat with. I'm just starting this channel, so I will be, I guess, talking to myself for a while. However, thank you so much for everyone who was commented in my previous live. Thank you so much. I really like it. So anyway, the idea here is to start a conversation. So I'm going to start the conversation. And once people start to know me and who want to have a conversation with me, then this is going to get, I guess, more, it will get more interesting. So let me know what you think. Tell me, I'd love to know what you've seen around, like the working holiday visa that you think it's odd, or why they're doing it. That's one of them. Would love to know what your profession is, what you like to work in. For example, one of my friends, he's a stylist, but he's a historian. He didn't go to school to study history, but he's a historian. He's amazing. He loves history. He's an amazing historian. So what do you like to do? What is your passion? What are the things that interest you? History, archaeology, anthropology, medicine, genetics. You're an artist. You paint. Do you make jewelry? So what do you do? I'd love to know if you want to share. Anyway, so I am going to go. So that's all I wanted to share with you. And thank you for being here. And I hope you let me know something about yourself in the comments or what you think. And we can start interacting with each other and chatting. Thank you